Today, we wake up in our habs for the first time and begin our true Star Citizen adventure. Let's begin. So, you have logged into the persistent universe and find yourself face up in the bed inside of your habitation unit, or HAB for short. This is a room reserved for you when you log in at the city which you have selected from the menu in the last video. Now let's talk about what is readily present and available to you right now. So I want to start by talking about the UI and what the different elements mean to you. For what you can currently see on screen, we have the icon to the top right that shows a bullet with an overlapping prohibited icon. This indicates that you are in a safe zone, or what is termed an armistice zone in Star Citizen. This typically means that you cannot equip weapons or fire weapons in your current surrounding area. The other icon to the left of it is the communications satellite icon. This indicates you are within comms range. What this basically means is that any crimes or events happening in your surrounding area is being monitored. We'll get to the crime system shortly, but in the current version of the game, this information is only relevant to player-committed crimes. When this icon is not present, it means that a player has disabled the communications satellite array, which is physically located in this system, and a location that you can visit. When the comms array is disabled, crimes committed are not monitored, and anyone committing the crime will do so anonymously without gaining a crime stat. A crime stat is something that we will discuss in an upcoming video. Also, when a communication satellite array is disabled, there is a mission that is created to repair and restore the satellite. This is a mission that any law-abiding citizen can take and complete for credits. Now on your left is the general or global player chat. You can enable and disable this with the default F12 keybind. The other element on your screen at the bottom right you can ignore for now. But for your information, this is typically the section of your HUD that is reserved for your weapon loadout and status. So let's go ahead and get up from our bed. There are two ways in which you can achieve this. In Star Citizen, there is an interaction mode which you can activate by holding the letter F on your keyboard. Your screen will reflect this behavior, and whatever is interactable in your immediate vicinity will show relevant interaction options. You may have to look around for those options. Now this will be true for items as well as other interactables in the game world. Alternatively, to get up out of the bed using the other method or keybind, you can press the letter Y. Y will be used for exiting beds and other seats throughout the game, including your pilot seat. We will cover more on that in a later video in this playlist. Now, let's get into one of the most important tools available to you, which is very important and one you will use very often. That is your Mobiglass arm device. To access your Mobiglass, press the F1 key on your keyboard. The Mobiglass is a watch-like device on your arm which emits a hologram filled with information and other important data. The first screen that you see is your personal details app. Once you navigate away from this app, you can get back to it by pressing the middle button at the bottom as shown on your screen. On the screen, you can see how much UEC or Alpha UEC during the Alpha phase, which stands for Alpha United Earth credits. You will also see your in-game name, crime stat, and vitals. There is much more information planned for this screen in the future. However, please note that there is an updated UI system coming to the game very soon that will change most of the way that this data is laid out. Again, we'll cover that, or we'll pretty much replace this video at the time that that does release. For now, we will work with what we have. I will update this video again when the time comes. So let's check out each Mobiglass app from left to right. On the far left is your Comlink app, which functions as your Mobiglass's version of the global chat, your friends list, and any pending requests from other players. If you get invited to a group or if missions are shared with you, they should show in the Pending tab. On the right-hand side is the list of players on the current server. You can interact with each one, where you have a set of options from which to choose if necessary. You can also manage the chat channel under the Manage tab. If you have settings enabled for chat as briefly covered in the last video, you have additional options here in relation to microphone and incoming sound volume settings. So let's go ahead and move on to the next Mobiglass app, and that is the Vehicle Loadout Manager. This tab is where you can manage your ship's loadout. This includes all of the different ship components your ships may have, from coolers to shield generators to the weapons equipped. Not all vehicles are the same, and you will see different options and different loadouts here. We will cover this in much more detail in a later video, but for now, just know that it exists and is a powerful tool that we can use when managing our ships. We now move on to the next app, which is Knickknacks. This app is one of the most recent additions as of the timestamp of this video. Knickknacks allows you to quickly and conveniently locate all of your items no matter where they are in the game. You can already acquire a lot of different items in the game today, and everything is location based. So there's no magical storage option where you can carry everything that you own everywhere that you go. Star Citizen is a highly detailed game that is based in moderate to significant believability. I would say realism, but CIG wants to make sure realism does not impede on fun. However, as part of this believability, all items have a weight and volume which factor into how you can store and move those items around the game. Moving a med pin is much different than moving a shield generator. One you can carry on your person, the other you will need a ship with enough inventory capacity to transport it. Right now, as this is a new account, the only thing we really own is our ship. As you continue to play the game, you will be acquiring all kinds of different items as shown under the categories dropdown. The more items you acquire at different locations around the verse, the stronger this app becomes. It will not always be easy remembering where you left a specific helmet or a particular armor piece. So this is where the Knickknacks app shines. So now, moving on to the next app, we have the Skyline app, or what will soon become the Star Map. This is essentially your in-game map of space. At the time of this video, there is no FPS map just yet. That is soon to come as CIG is replacing the current UI system in the near future. For now, this map will be more relevant once we enter our ship or when trying to locate where friends or group mates might be in the universe. We will cover more on these things in a later video. Now we move to the next app, which is the Mo Trader app. This is the current method that you can use to send or receive money from friends or others. You simply select Begin and use the search bar to find your recipient. And if they are a friend or in your party already, they should be listed conveniently directly below. Once you have your recipient, you can select them and enter the amount you want to send. There is a fee to use this service, which will be shown in the total cost section. Now we can move to the next app, which is the Contracts app. You will use this app quite often in the current build of the game and beyond. This is where you can view, accept, and manage missions and contracts within the planetary system or local area that you are in. Some missions are system-wide, while many will be local to the jurisdiction in which you are currently located. For example, Kovalex Independent Contractors, as you can see, offering the contract currently shown on your screen, they are offering this contract within the ArcCorp area. We will discuss the different notable people, factions, companies, and organizations in the game in one of the upcoming Mobiglass apps. Looking at this mission on the screen for now, it is a delivery mission as seen on the left-hand side. Kovalex Independent Contractors are offering us a contract to pick up a package from the ArcCorp Mining Area 48 on Walla, which is a nearby moon, and then dropping it off on the same planet but different POI, ArcCorp Mining Area 61. If we were to take this mission, they are offering us 3,000 Alpha UEC if we can successfully complete the mission. We could accept this mission, but for the sake of this demonstration, we will refrain for now. There are different missions under General, which are generally always available to everyone at the same time, depending on some other factors. Consider these like missions on a public mission board. Anyone can take them at any time as long as they have the required reputation to do so. There is the concept of being first to pick up a mission, so if you like one that you see, be sure to grab it before someone else does. Under the Personal Missions tab, these missions are not public, but personal to you individually. Though others may get similar missions and maybe even identical ones, it's not considered publicly available. Look at this more as if the sender or requester wants to fly under the radar, so they email you or other desired clients privately. There are some key factors we will discuss momentarily that will tie this all together. For now, just know that whatever missions show or do not show for you are based on a few factors, which include your current reputation with the potential mission giver. So let's continue. The Accepted tab holds the missions that you have accepted and are currently active. The history shows missions you have completed or failed. The beacon is another beast that I will touch on super briefly because it doesn't currently work consistently. The beacon system is designed to be a way for you to ask others for help, whether that be to transport you somewhere, protect or escort you to safety, and finally a medical beacon to rescue you or provide healing services. Again, the system is currently hit or miss for me, with my personal experience being miss most of the time. As a result, I won't go into any further details until this is either updated or replaced with the eventual new system. So let's move to the next app in our Mobiglass. In the current build of the game, the Vehicle Maintenance Service app is your rest stop application where you can refuel, repair, and rearm your ship. As you can see, we are not piloting a ship at the moment, so there aren't any options for us to use for now. Going forward, vehicles will need the same services, so I can see them expanding this for that at some time in the near future. For now, just know we will touch more on this when we go through the flight section of this tutorial series. Let's now move on to the next app, which is your journal. Now this is what I consider to be an underrated app because it holds some really good information that you will want to know depending on what you choose to do in the game. The first tab is the Commodity Price Alerts, which is for cargo traders out there. This tab is useful for getting a quick glance at what the demand for different commodities are at the present moment. This is a dynamic list, so it will change periodically. I plan to do a trading guide at some point in the future where we can go into more details on how to trade in the game. Moving on to the next tab, this is sort of a guide itself in that it explains how the medical system works in Star Citizen. I also plan to create a medical guide. However, this page gives just about all the information you need to understand how it works. Now, just as with the first aid tab, the nutrition tab shows all of the information related to the different food and drink items in the game. Now, I have already created a video on this that you can view later. The link should be in the top right. The nutrition system in this game is both cool and very interesting. I see it as a buff and debuff system that factors well into the survival aspects of the game. There is a lot going on underneath the hood in Star Citizen, and it's beautiful if I may share my opinion. Most of the remaining tabs function the same in regard to educating you to game systems and the local areas. Let's take a look at the Jurisdiction tab before moving on to the last app. When you travel around the system, you will move in and out of different jurisdictions, which have their own laws and punishments for breaking them. I urge you to read them to understand further as there is a lot of good information in there. Star Citizen has a law system that governs the different jurisdictions and will continue to be expanded upon. For now, you can see that we are within the UEE and ArcCorp jurisdiction. The UEE is the government level entity in Star Citizen in regard to the Stanton system. though they generally have a hands-off approach to this system as it is owned by corporations. There is a lot of lore out there about this game, and some very good content creators who focus on it in the Star Citizen community. I recommend checking out those channels if you have not already. Now, ArcCorp is the corporation that owns this system, as you may have imagined by the name of the planet being ArcCorp. Their laws, as well as UEE law, is what governs this local area of space. Now let's check out the last app in our Mobiglass. The Delphi app is where you can learn about the different contacts and organizations that you have interacted with so far. So yeah, the screen is empty because we have yet to interact with any contact or organization. Once we accept a contract, that will change. Now, once populated, we will be able to see the contact's bio and information. We will also get an idea of what our reputation level is with the organization or contact. I will be creating a separate video on reputation in Star Citizen soon. I will go into more detail in that video, but for now, understand that reputation is a huge deal when it comes to the player progression in Star Citizen. We will in fact touch more on this in upcoming videos in this series as well. Now that was a longer video in this tutorial series as I really wanted to cover the Mobiglass apps so that you can have a better launching point into your Star Citizen career. Now with that said, it's time to move on to the next steps, which means the next video.